Oh, and we are live. Hello, everyone. Thanks for jumping into the chat. Nicole, I've tried to factor in latency, and here we are, kicking off. Firstly, can you hear me? Can you see me? Can you hear me? Is this sounding okay? Let me have a look at my streaming software, which actually appears to be working. Holy hell. Too loud, too soft, too beautiful. Hi, Nicole. Thank you for letting me know. Hello, Henry. Oh, Henry. It was nice to meet you this week after the lecture. Hi, Zinrui. Hey there, Selena. Resurger. What's up? Michael Verde. Hello. Oh, good. Wow. Well, let's hope that the tech holds out this time around. We might be on to a good thing. I'm a little nervous because it's windy outside, and we all know what happened last time when it was windy with the good old Australian NBN. But we can only try. We know there's a plan B we can fall back to if this collapses for some reason. So, hey, hi, how are you? Are you well? Um, I have had a bit of a cold the last couple of days, but I woke up today feeling much better. And there's just been so much happening this week, hasn't there, around mind, brain, and behavior one? And of course, you've got other subjects as well, which clearly are not going to be as good as mind, brain, and behavior one. But how are you? How's your first week going, everyone? Is it a bit overwhelming? Is it um, an information overload? And when I use this particular streaming software that I'm using with a camera in front of me here, um, there's about a 20-second delay, I think I'm looking at here. So if it's a little bit laggy, apologies for that. Selena's loving it. Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that, Selena. And we've only just really started to scratch the surface of the interesting content. So, um, I think you're just going to start loving it more and more. Just about all right. That's a good place to be. Um, it's an interesting observation. I love it when people say just about all right because that's probably a very accurate description of where most of us are most of the time. This is one of the fundamentals of clinical psychology. When we think about so many of the messages out there at the moment around mental health, a lot of it is about the pursuit of happiness. And the fact is, and the pursuit of joy and so forth, and these extraordinarily elevated positive emotions. But the fact is that we don't usually spend our time, for the most part, in that space. We spend our time mostly in the just okay space, which is, in between a depressed and an elevated mood. But I've been pretty elevated this week, apart from my cold. I must say, it's been great to be getting Mind Brain Behavior 1 off to a great start. And I hear that Oliver the Sausage Dog made an appearance at the first lectures with Meredith, which is great. Oliver is a very a seasoned lecturer, a lecturer of great renown, and he will no doubt help Meredith demonstrate some classical and operant conditioning to you in next week's lectures. Exciting but nervous, yeah. Yeah, that's a good place to be, Nathan. I think that's the place that many people are at right now. Every time I see the stream stop, I think, oh, the chat stop, I think, oh, are we still streaming? But I think we are. Everything is looking kosher. Last time we were having buffering issues, and the stream was having some buffering issues. How is it this time on your end? Is the stream coming through okay? Oh, thank you, Rabbit Fern. I'm feeling much better. I woke up today feeling pretty much right as rain, which is ideal. Oh, you keep getting lost in the campus. Yeah. You know, Henry, I still get lost in the campus, and I've been at the University of Melbourne since 2006. And it's always growing and always changing. I will occasionally get lost too, so don't feel bad. Thanks, Henry. No buffering issues thus far. That's what I like to hear. Um, oh, it's a nice day outside, isn't it? Blue sky. I am working from home today, partly so that I could test out the streaming setup with you. Now I'm not actually on plan A right now. Plan A was to use a better camera than the one that I am using. So I'm actually here's the camera that I did want to use. My baby was going to be here, and this is what I was going to be streaming with, but I did have a bit of an issue with it. We are currently streaming by the back-facing camera on an iPhone 10, and it's doing the job, but next time we'll get the 5D rocking and get things even more clear. I've just got to sort some more things out. I am about to do a lot of travel over the next couple of weeks. Before the end of the month, I am going to be traveling for the school and for a research project that I'm running called the National Stigma Report Card, which is a project about stigma and discrimination experienced by people living with severe mental illness. Next week I go to New South Wales. I'll be travelling up the coast of New South Wales with a team of researchers, interviewing people about their experiences. And I will probably live stream from somewhere on the road that week. The following week I'll definitely live stream from somewhere on the road. I'm going to be in Alice Springs in the Northern Territory, right in the middle of Australia. The week after that is Geraldton in Western Australia, potentially, and Queensland. And some more Queensland trips as well. It's a really big survey. It's a collaboration between the school and an organisation called Sane Australia, who support people living with complex mental health issues. And I'll tell you more about it in semester 2, but I know that so many of you have been interested in seeing behind the scenes with various things, and so I will be sure to do some live streaming and do some vlogs as I go along and do that. But even though I'll be out and about, I'll still be managing Mind, Brain and Behaviour 1 just remotely. Now, there's somebody out there that won a textbook last time we streamed, but haven't come to get it yet. Are you out there, famed textbook winner? I can't remember who it was, but we should probably give away another textbook today, I think. Maybe? I don't know. What do you think? Should we? Another textbook, maybe? I've got a pile of brand new textbooks that publishers send to me because they want me to prescribe them to students. And so Funnily enough, they end up being prizes for students. So maybe you all can think of a question. What sort of challenge should we have to win the textbook this week? I wonder what that could be. It might have been Katie. Yeah, that sounds vaguely right. But I think we've got enough textbooks to do a giveaway every week. What can we do? Something around classical conditioning, maybe? Around operant conditioning. That's where Meredith is starting to take you in terms of your reading and in terms of the lectures and practical classes as well coming up. Has anyone been doing the reading yet about classical conditioning? Maybe classical conditioning is the thing to ask about. All right, I'm going to pose you a question. I assume you're looking at classical conditioning first. And if you've already been doing your reading, you'll know the answer to this question, I think. So I'm going to give you a hypothetical scenario. Let's imagine a person, and we'll call them Henry. So let's imagine that Henry lives by the beach in a tropical area that's prone to cyclones. And then one night, a cyclone comes with really strong wind and really strong rain and tears the roof off Henry's house. And Henry has the response of being terrified. The roof has been pulled off the house. He's very scared. He's okay though. And then in the future, whenever Henry hears talk of a cyclone on a news report, he becomes fearful and starts to tremble. So, the story again is that Henry had his roof torn off his house and he was terrified. And then in the future, when he hears talk on the news about a possible cyclone in the weather report, he starts to tremble. He becomes fearful. Tell me, in this story, and I've just seen your chat message, Henry, you're feeling attacked. It was the cyclone that's attacked you. It wasn't me. But yeah, what is the conditioned stimulus in this scenario? The first person who can tell me what the conditioned stimulus is in this scenario. Okay, so like I said, it's windy out there. Yeah, lots of people left. That's okay. They can Watch it back in due course. Let's narrow the list of winners. We do have a winner. It's Katia. Katia, congratulations. Am I saying that right, Katia? Well, it looks like you guys are the core stream watchers, so maybe next time I'll fake some buffering and I'll just be like, and we'll get everyone to leave, and then you guys can win the textbooks. Oh, Katia, excellent. All right, so Katia, you have won yourself a textbook. I will organize for you to be able to pick it up from the 12th floor reception desk in psychology because I'm traveling next week interstate. So if you go to the 12th floor, oh, I'm spitting everywhere. Pow. No coronavirus. If you go to the 12th floor from Tuesday onwards, you will be able to collect your prize. Congratulations, Cardia. Well done. So there's lots of questions flying around at the moment about the response to coronavirus for students who are still not in the country. Different subjects across the university are offering different solutions, and unfortunately, the COVID-19 website that the university has constructed and is updating information about the response for students, it provides advice at the course level, so like the Bachelor of Arts, the Bachelor of Science, and so forth, when in fact what can be offered to students varies at the subject level. So what we can offer and are offering students who are affected by the travel restrictions in Mind, Brain and Behavior 1, it's different to what other subjects might be offering. It's unfolding on a daily basis. As you all know, we're watching the news every day and we're updating our strategy. But for everybody who is in China or who is in another country and waiting to come to Australia and is having a delayed travel experience because of the restrictions, don't worry, everything is under control. You will be able to complete Mind, Brain and Behavior 1 this semester. We will get you through. We've got an adapted practical class program which begins next week, and we are prepared to deliver that for the entire semester. Other subjects in other parts of the university are only offering support for 4 weeks. But to be clear, in Mind, Brain and Behavior 1, we are prepared to support you for the entire semester. And I can't give you an answer right now about what will happen with the final exam and how and where and when you would sit that. You would sit it most likely during the final exam period. And I'm looking at a range of solutions. To be candid, I'm looking at potentially invigilated online solutions, but that's just one of the things I'm looking at. There's a range of things. I don't know what the final solution will be, but rest assured, we'll work it out one way or another. So if you were worrying that we could only be flexible for 4 weeks, don't worry. That's not us. We're a very flexible subject. We do a lot of yoga and Pilates. But we've got you back. We've got you covered if you have been affected by the coronavirus travel ban. Do not worry. We're all sorted. And I will continue to give you regular updates about what is happening there. So we're at the end of week 1. What sorts of questions do you want to ask me? I'm here to answer any questions that you might have about Mind, Brain, and Behavior 1, about getting up and started with things. Incidentally, if you're out there right now and you don't have a YouTube account, I'd suggest that you sign up for one as soon as possible and follow the channel so that you know when I'm going live and you can join in the chat here with all of your classmates. But also for today, you could go to the Canvas discussion board where there's a thread for questions to ask in today's AMA live stream, which is this. And Selena is kicking us off with a question, which is a really popular question. So how do we sign up for the Research Experience program? Very good question, Selena. So let me just open up a browser here. In the Mind, Brain, and Behavior 1 Canvas site, you need to go to the modules section, and that's where all of the lecture content and so forth is. And I've just this morning moved it to the top of the screen because no one was finding it. At the very top of the list, you'll find a section on the Research Experience program. And if you click on that, that opens up the description of the Research Experience program that I wrote up in the subject manual, and provides the same sort of information that I talked about at the preliminary lecture. And you will also find in yellow highlighting that I have provided a link that you can click, and clicking that link, just checking it works, and it does work, has been, so it's working. That will take you to the REP site. You can click then on the University of Melbourne login, and it will take you to your account information page, at which point you need to put in your, no, you don't put in your old account. So things have changed. We've been working, good question, Nicole. We've been working over the summer to turn the SONA system, the online REP system, into single sign-on. So it will use your same university credentials. All you need to do when you click through on the green University of Melbourne login button, it should automatically populate your account details, and you'll need to put in your student number, your student ID number. So not your username or something, it's your student ID number you need to put in, and make sure you get that correct to confirm your account. Now, one thing that's tripping people up a little is that they'll see sometimes an email address that isn't necessarily their email address in there, but it still has your name. It's just a different configuration, maybe, of your name and some sorts of characters that would make up an email address. The reason for this is, as you know, students can choose a number of different student email addresses for Melbourne University. All of those aliases, I suppose, ultimately reference one core email address that sits behind the visible wall. It's the core email identifier that is you, and that's what you'll see pop up in the SONA system credentials screen. So don't get thrown by that. Just put in your student ID number and everything will be fine. So that is on the LMS right now, on the Canvas LMS. Not to be confused with the Blackboard LMS, which is the old smelly version of Canvas that we used to use. So I see that there's two questions in the um, week one live stream thread. And the first one is, it's actually the same question twice from Georgia. Thanks for your question, Georgia. So, and this is about REP as well. So, just wondering where we access the research experiments we'd like to participate in to acquire the 5%, and how we go about proving we've participated and so on. So, that's a good question. So, the system, the REP system, will show you the ads. You will be able to sign up. In some cases, if it's online research, you'll even be able to participate through it. And you'll also receive your credit through the system. So researchers should be awarding you your credit depending on the type of study. It could be set up to appear automatically, or the researcher may need to input it manually. Given that researchers may be dealing with hundreds of students who are participating in their survey, I generally would suggest that you might give them a couple of days to award you the credit. But certainly, if a couple of days have elapsed, and say you're sitting 3 or 4 days out and there's no credit there, then I would contact the individual researcher. Certainly on my end, on the governance end, I'll be working with all of the researchers and reminding them that they need to award those credits as soon as possible. And Dr. Pete Koval, who's the convener of the REP program, he has already been doing the same. Snowy Emu, so very good to see you out there. Kiana, thank you for your question. Are the quizzes on the LMP? LMP? What's LMP again? Somebody remind me what LMP is. Oh, LMS? I gotcha. Sorry. Okay. I thought it was some new groovy acronym that I wasn't up to date with. You're also cool with your FMLs and your FTWs and your LOLs. So the quizzes on the LMS, there'll be different quizzes for different things. All of the research methods quizzes are there now. You should be able to see them. So earlier on this week, following the lecture on Tuesday, I uploaded the 12 quizzes to the research methods modules. Why can I only see 7? Oh, no, wait. That's right. I got started on this and I didn't finish. Okay. Naughty Chris. So, the first 7 quizzes are there for the modules, and you'll find them inside each module. Oh, no, there's the 8th one. I did do the 8th. There you go. Good for me. All right. So that's more than enough to get you started. Fixing it up now as we speak. But if you have a look at the LMS, the Canvas LMS right now, you'll find that the first 8 research methods modules have each now got a quiz, and you'll be able to go in there and do that. Once you watch the micro lecture, you can do the quiz to test your knowledge, and you'll find that the quiz will give you feedback about what answer you provided and what the right answer actually is, and so forth. Henry, are there set dates for the assignments? Very good question. So there is just one assignment for the semester, one written assignment, and that assignment is due at 8 a.m. on Tuesday, the 28th of April. This is in the subject manual. So, You might remember I originally had it due early on the 27th, but then realized that was Anzac Day and that wasn't appropriate to have it due in on that date. I felt, even though it was a not a university holiday. So there's that. The other thing that you will have to complete by a certain date, but it's a hurdle requirement, you don't receive marks for it, is that assessment literacy homework assignment. It's an online module, and we'll explain all about it in the week 4 practical classes. And then between your practical class in week 4 and your practical class in week 5, you will need to complete that online assessment literacy hurdle. The task will involve you looking at an example essay and marking it as though you were an academic staff member, and you will rate that essay in the same way in which we will be rating your essays a few weeks after that. So the idea, again, is that you learn how to write your essay in response to marking criteria, and our hope is that by the end of this process, and certainly the pilot data indicates that this should be the case, you should be able to predict what your mark will be when you've written your essay for this semester and for semesters going forward. This is a really useful tool for success, a very useful skill for success in university. And you'll find this to be very useful across the board, all of your psychology subjects, and certainly beyond. Oh, Henry, goodness me, I am still so bad at using the LMS as well. There are, but is it us? Is it us, Henry? Or is it the LMS itself? We've just switched to a new system, Canvas. But it's got its good points. There's a lot that's clunky about it. For example, the discussion board threads. Have you noticed how the discussion board is just this endless stream of questions? That's because we can't set up individual topic threads. It's just less than ideal, shall we say. If you're interested, we could actually try an alternative discussion board that I can code into the MBB1 page. Maybe we'll trial that. We'll give it a run. If you're interested to try it with me, maybe we can test it out together, and we'll keep it or not, depending on what we all think. Let's do that. I'll code that up over the weekend. Oh, you can't see the quizzes still, Belinda. So are you looking in the research methods section? So in the research methods section, in any of them, the first 8 modules, they're all published. So unless there's some other conflicting setting, you should be able to see them. If anybody wants to have a check, that would be ideal in the research methods modules, any of the first 8 ones. Okay, Chloe, great. I think we'll do that then. Excellent. Kiana, there will be a bit of guidance in regards to writing the essay in the assignment lecture classes and maybe practicals, will there? Yeah, absolutely. So we are approaching the essay with the sort of conceptualization that nobody knows how to write an essay. So we're going to teach you how to write an essay for psychology. There's a special way to do it. It is its own recipe for writing. And in fact, it sort of is like following a recipe. And it's one that's therefore highly replicatable. And once you have the recipe down pat, you will be able to write really good essays. And it's also very translatable to writing lab reports as well. Within a lab report, you write a dedicated section that builds the rationale for your lab report. So it's a literature review that builds an argument for the predictions that you're going to put forward in your study and why you would be doing your study. And a lot of that section, a lot of the introduction section of a lab report is very similar to an essay like we're going to teach you. Sad react to Henry. That's okay, Henry. You can always watch the rest back later on. Thanks for tuning in. Now, I know I've missed some questions. Nicole, the quizzes are not counted towards your final score. The only thing that counts towards your final marks for Mind, Brain and Behavior 1, the assignment, the exam at the end of semester, and the REP 5% credit if you choose to participate in that. If you choose not to participate in the REP, you can write an additional assignment or something like that, potentially to gain up to 5% credit, and have a look at the REP discussion on the LMS and in the subject manual for more details about that. I personally think that the participation in the research is a very valuable learning tool and a really interesting experience. I can still remember the research that I participated in my first year of psychology. So I'd encourage you to explore it. Cherry on top, howdy. Haven't watched a single psych lecture yet. That's okay. Nothing's due just yet. So things being due are week 5 and week 8. And you've got plenty of time to catch up on the psych lectures. Practical classes are next week, though, and you do want to watch the psych lectures before you attend the practical classes. Have a look at the announcements that Meredith sent out Wednesday or Thursday, and you will see what you need to do before next week's lectures. So you've got time to catch up. That's fine. All right, scrolling down. Also struggling to find the quizzes. All right, so that means there's some other conflicting setting. Thank you, Chloe, for checking that out. No quiz. No, you're all okay. So Belinda, thank you as well. Thank you, Yiji. There's some other conflicting setting then. All right, let's have a tinker here with this quiz and see what is going on. Should be able to see that. Why can we not? Excuse me. Only instructors can see this quiz until it's published. It is published. Oh my God, girl. Sorry, I'm trying to look around my camera here. Okay, everybody, could you please have a look for me again at the hang on a minute. Which one was that? That was feedback quiz 2. So have a look for me in module 2, constructs and operational definitions, if you don't mind, and see if you can now see a link entitled MBB1 Research Methods Feedback Quiz 2. Yes! All right, so there is now a quiz for Module 2. Thank you, Chloe. Excellent. Okay, so now I know what the conflicting setting is. I will go through and fix that up for all of the quizzes after the stream. Thank you very much. Well done, Gigi. Thank you, everyone. What's the REP? Oh, cherry on top. I think you've got some reading to do. Go and watch my first lecture and read the subject manual. And it sounds like you've got a little bit of catching up to do, but that's okay. There's plenty of time to do that. Well, look, plenty of time. That's a bit of an exaggeration. You want to get started, or things will start to build up. So I think if you find an hour in your day over the next couple of days to do some dedicated catch up on first year psychology, you'll be fine. That'll be off to a good start. Random question. Are we going into Little Albert? I don't know if Meredith will talk to you about Little Albert. She may, or she may not. I imagine that she will. If she doesn't, then we can talk some more about Little Albert and fear conditioning. Oh, you had to watch a video on Little Albert. Was that the one where they look at who Little Albert might have been and go into the whole Douglas Marie story and some background on J.B. Watson and Rosalie Rayner and whatnot and the whole story? I've been holding off sharing something with you guys in terms of videos because I know that Meredith was releasing some things, but I could also share something with you around classical and operant conditioning. Bear with me for a moment while I find the video. Yeah, hopefully his reactions were extinguished as he grew older. How do you think they would become extinguished? Okay, small section with footage and the basics. All right, let me just have a look at my videos here. Is it this one? It's this one. All right. You might have already seen this, but if you haven't, as a lead into your learning and conditioning work, here is an old video of me. It might even be a blonde me at the time, I think. Doing some SEAL training, doing a SEAL show. This would be about 2002-ish. 2001, 2002, somewhere around there. This is a brief little snippet. Okay, here's the second giveaway for the day. Oh, for the day? Or maybe we'll do this at the next stream. So one thing you could do between now and the next stream is watch that video. It's only 1 minute long. And you will find that the seals are waving hello. I think that's what I get them to do, maybe. They all get up on their rocks. They all wave hello. That's right. And I'd like you to tell me what the discriminative stimulus is. So what is the stimulus that I'm giving? And you can turn the sound up and you can listen and you can look at the video and tell me what is the stimulus that I'm giving to which they are responding and performing the waving behavior. What is that? And then also, while you're learning about conditioning, let me find another video here. You can have a look at, okay, this one. And that video is when I went and did a vlog for last year's Mind Brain Behavior 1 group out with some colleagues in the marine mammal department at the zoo, at Melbourne Zoo. And one of the trainers, or a couple of the trainers, take us through how they apply classical conditioning and operant conditioning to their seals, and the conditioning, the learning of their seals, and the performing of husbandry-related behaviors and so forth. Selena, your question, what is 5 credits worth in terms of passing the subject? 5%. So each credit equals 1% towards your Mind, Brain, and Behavior 1 mark. You don't have to do 5 hours. Some people might want to do 3, for example, and get 3%. But at the end of the semester, you come out having credit, which is great, and experience and insight, which is great too. All right, so any other questions on week 1 of Mind, Brain, Behavior 1? You've already done half a credit. Wow, that was quick, Selena. Well done. I just remembered that... damn it. Okay. I've just remembered that I needed to tell my assistant to go ahead and book the flights. Book the flights, he says. Hang on a minute. I'm just going to tell her this because time is ticking. Oh my God, flights. Go ahead and book the flights, please. Sorry, got tied up talking with the MBB1 people. Isn't it fun watching me write an email? Welcome to my life. Lots of things being juggled. Let's put a high priority flag on that, and off it goes. Okay. Henry, is there going to be an announcement for REP on Canvas regarding how to go about doing it? Everything you need to know. Henry is in Canvas already. Go to the REP link at the very top of the modules section. It was always there. It was at the bottom and people couldn't see it. So go to the very top of the modules section. All of the instructions are there, and you're all good to get started. So scrolling back up through the chat, I'm going to organize a textbook for... Who am I giving it to again? Katia. Katia won the textbook. All right. Chris writes himself a little note. Okay, so Katia, that textbook again will be ready for pickup from the 12th floor after Tuesday. Tuesday or after. That'll be fine. So I think I've got all of the questions answered. Let me do another look at the discussion thread on Canvas and see if there's any new questions that have popped up in there while we've been talking. No, that's it. Okay. So of course, practical classes start in the next week, don't they? So now things start to get a little bit busier with Mind, Brain, and Behavior 1. And while it starts to get a little bit busier, it also starts to get much more interesting and much more engaging now that you're going to get into the classes together. So that's something to be really excited about. It's a really great layer to the program. Did anybody have any questions about the practical classes while we're still talking? So we had a bit of a buffering issue there for a moment, but we've lasted the stream, which is good. We had a bit of a hiccup, but we've been able to stream for nearly an hour, so that's been great. As we go along and you start getting into more content, then I imagine some of our discussion is going to start to revolve around some of your content, and we can talk about that. We'll start to talk about research methods content as well. And we'll start to contextualize some of the things that you're learning and discuss them each week. Oh, what do we need to bring to practical classes? Nothing, just come along, bring a computer or pen and paper, whatever it is that you'd like to bring, Belinda. Kiana, that's right, no lab coats. They are similar to are they similar to tutorials? Yeah, sort of. You'll hear the term tutorial, prac class, lab class used interchangeably in psychology subjects. I suppose the core framework for these classes is one where you get to interact closely with staff and with other students, one where you get to learn through discussion and an exploration of topics, either by considering readings together or doing activities together, doing experiments together, and so forth, and where you acquire skills to complement the knowledge that you might be acquiring from the lectures and so forth. So it's really about extending and exploring the lecture content practically. And yes, we'll be preparing you for your assignments in the practical classes as well. Now, I should say that whilst there is no requirement to wear a lab coat, if you feel that you look particularly fierce in a lab coat, then you go ahead and you wear your lab coat. So I think that's probably about it for this week. I'll check in with you again, and again, it'll likely be next Friday morning. that's when I will be back in Melbourne. But I will advertise the time for that pretty soon, actually, so everybody can put it into their diaries. And the practical classes equal psych workshops, sort of, I suppose, Kiana. Yeah, you could think of them as workshops. Sure. So, excellent. All right, everyone. So I think that's where I'm going to call it for today. Thank you very much for tuning in, everybody that came in and joined in the chat. It's great to be speaking with you. And for everybody who's watching after the fact, thank you very much for watching and keeping up to date with what's happening in Mind, Brain, and Behavior 1. Thanks to everybody who joined in the, what should we call it, Memegeddon, the cascade of memes and responses, the discussion we were having out there on Facebook last night. That was fun. So I look forward to seeing you there in the Facebook chat again soon too. So thanks everyone. Hope you enjoyed week 1 of Mind, Brain and Behavior 1, and all the very best for a very nice weekend. Get some rest and look after yourself. And next week it's all systems go with practical classes and lectures, and I'll check in with you again. All right, everyone, have a great week, and I'll see you soon. Bye now.